Hello, my name is Ed Frawley. My wife and I own Leerburg. This is kind of an introduction to a video that I produced, a VHS video that I produced back in the 1980s on how to groom German Shepherds. The reason I did the video back then was I started producing videos in 1982, and I bred German Shepherds back then. I bred them for 35 years. I bred German Shepherds for police service work. So they were my breed of choice. As time went on, and my wife had Malinois, and we got into Malinois also. I haven't bred since 2009. But back then, I thought, when I first started, my first videos were on obedience training and Schutzen training. And I thought, well, I want to learn how to really groom a German Shepherd the right way. And maybe what I should do is do a whole bunch of grooming videos. So I went and did this one. It's still a good video. If you got a German Shepherd, this is going to help you figure out how to groom it, because Cindy and I still have a German Shepherd, and we will always have a German Shepherd. But I learned very quickly, wait a minute, there's too many breeds of dogs. There's too many ways to groom dogs. Like right now, we have 3 little dogs. We have a Border Terrier. I love her to death. She's 14 years old. I mean, she loves me, but how you groom a Border Terrier, they call it stripping their hair. I don't want no part of that. I have a Shih Tzu. I love her to death. She's 10 years old. She's about that tall. She's the ugliest little thing I ever seen. She genetically, her tongue hangs out. Rosie. And I don't want any part of figuring out how to groom some of these different types of dogs that are out. So I did this German Shepherd grooming video and never evolved into any other grooming video. So I'm putting it out there for free because I hope I can help some German Shepherd people learn how to groom their dogs.
Hello, my name is Ed Frawley. This DVD is set up like a book. It has chapters and subchapters. You can view the section that you wish by following the menu buttons. If you're watching a subchapter and you want to go to another part of the DVD, simply hit the menu button on your DVD remote control, and this will return you to the main menu of our training video.
The German Shepherd is one of the most popular dogs in America. Its popularity stems from the fact that it is such a versatile working dog. The Shepherd was developed in Germany by a man named Max von Stephanitz. The first German Shepherd dog was registered in 1912. Von Stephanitz was a German cavalry officer who brought an eye for conformation, movement, and working ability with him in developing a truly beautiful animal. His goal was to develop the ultimate working dog. We feel he succeeded. Today, the Shepherd is used in a wide variety of jobs. It works as a patrol dog and a narcotic detection dog in police service work. It is used extensively in search and rescue work. It is a guide dog for the blind. And in Germany, it is still used to herd sheep in the tending style of sheep herding. It is used as a personal protection dog. The sport of Schutzen was developed by Max von Stephanitz to measure the working ability of the German Shepherd. Today, this sport has become one of the fastest-growing dog sports in America. And finally, for many thousands and thousands of people, the German Shepherd is a wonderful household pet. The Shepherd's coat is one of the features that has made the dog so versatile. It has a two-layered coat, an outer coat and an undercoat that allows it to weather extreme cold and unusually hot climates. But the real beauty of the Shepherd's coat is that it's what we call home groomable. This means that it can be properly cared for by the average pet owner without a lot of clipping and cutting. This video is for German Shepherd owners, and we are going to teach you how to give your dog a professional grooming job in your own home. All you need to groom your dog is a few basic tools. As a dog owner, you probably have many of these tools already. But if you're missing one of them, your local grooming shop or veterinarian should have them for sale. First of all, you'll need a universal brush. This will loosen up the dog's coat when you begin grooming. Next is the undercoat rake. This is used to remove more of the dead undercoat. You should have a steel comb with both wide and fine teeth. A shedding blade is used on your dog's short hair, for example, on the legs. The rubber grooming brush is useful in lathering up the dog during the bath, and it can also be used for brushing. You will need a bottle of ear cleaner and some cotton balls. You should have a nail clippers. There are two types of these available, those with two cutting edges and the guillotine type clippers. And once your dog is done with the bath, you'll need to dry him off. There are blow dryers available, designed specifically for dogs, but we'll talk more about those when we get to that segment of the tape. The first step in the grooming process is cleaning out the dog's ears. Now, we are not promoting any certain brand of ear cleaner here. There are several good products on the market, so you should ask your veterinarian or your local grooming shop which one they sell. To begin, squeeze some ear wash on a cotton ball. Then insert it into the dog's ear and massage it back and forth. Now, many dogs don't like having this done, but massaging it like this makes it less uncomfortable for the dog. It's important to remember here that you should only put the cotton ball in as far as you can see. Be careful not to go too far, or you could damage your dog's ear canal. You can see from the cotton ball that this dog has some awfully dirty ears. Once you've done that, now take a dry cotton ball and wipe out the ear. Then get 2 new cotton balls and repeat the procedure for the other ear. As a rule of thumb, it's best to clean out your dog's ears about every week, although some dogs may need it more frequently than others. If your dog has persistent head shaking, you may want to have it checked out by your veterinarian. As a pet owner, you have the luxury of being able to trim your dog's nails without having to go to the groomer to have it done. First, you must choose which type of nail trimmer you want to use. There are 2 kinds, those with a double cutting edge and the guillotine type of nail clippers. We prefer the guillotine clippers in our kennel. Now, before you begin cutting, look closely under the dog's nails. There are 2 parts to the nail, called the hook and the quick. The hook is the curved part of the nail that extends over the quick. Now, you want to trim off only the hook and right up to the quick, but be careful. If you cut into the quick, there may be some bleeding. If this does happen, you can stop it with a cotton ball and a little bit of pressure. Also, the same styptic stick you use when you cut yourself shaving will stop the bleeding as well. We should note here that puppies' nails can be very, very sharp. You don't need to be concerned with cutting your puppy's nails all the way up to the quick. The most important part is just trimming off the sharp point. The next step in the grooming process is brushing the dog. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people make when grooming their own dog at home is not doing a good enough job of brushing. You must brush the dog to remove the dead coat that has accumulated. The more dead coat you can remove in the brushing phase, the easier it will be to get the dog clean in the bath. We're going to break down brushing into 5 different steps. The universal brush, the undercoat rake, the shedding blade, and the steel comb, both wide and fine teeth. The first step is with the universal brush. Brushing with the universal brush begins the process of loosening up the dog's coat. Once the coat is loosened up, the dead coat pulls right out. Many groomers like to start from the back end of the dog, like this. Lift the coat up and start from the bottom while working your way up. On some of the shorter-haired shepherds, it may not be necessary to begin with this brush. You'll have to experiment to find out. But on the fuller-coated ones, it is.
How often do you do this to your own dog?
I brush her in the springtime every day because she sheds like crazy, and I give her a bath about once, at the most once a month, because I don't want to dry her skin out.
When you have brushed the entire coat and not as much dead coat is coming out, it's time to switch to the undercoat rake. The undercoat rake is a really beautiful tool. Now that the dog's coat has been loosened up with the universal brush, the rake pulls out more of the dead undercoat. Use the rake to brush the entire dog. When you get to the neck region where the skin is loose, pull the skin up when you brush so that you can get all the way through the coat. Once you have brushed the entire coat with the rake, the next step is the shedding blade. On really short-coated shepherds and on the legs of this dog, the rake and its long teeth will not work. So here we use a tool called the shedding blade. It consists of a curved strip of steel with small teeth on the edges. Just use the edge of the blade to brush down the coat. As you can see here, the dead coat is pulling right out. The shedding blade is used to pull out the dead undercoat from the places where the rake is ineffective. The next step in brushing is using the steel comb. Many people ignore the fact that the steel comb has two different widths of teeth, but each set of teeth has its own purpose. Begin with the wider teeth first. Pull the comb all the way through the coat. If it glides through nicely, that means that the dog is just about ready for the bath. But there probably will be a few spots that will need a little more combing. Remember, it's important to get as much dead coat out as possible before you bathe the dog. The more that comes out, the cleaner the dog gets. Once you have run the wide teeth of the comb through the entire coat, flip it over and go over them again with the fine teeth. This will make sure that you have most of the dead coat out. Then, once you are satisfied that you've brushed and combed the dog well enough, it's time for the bath. The first step in bathing your dog is choosing a shampoo. Your dog is not a human, so don't use a regular human shampoo. Humans and dogs have different pH levels, and using a regular shampoo will dry out your dog's skin. Even if it's a mild shampoo, it will be harsh on your dog. In this video, we will be using 3 different types of shampoo. We are going to use a regular cleansing shampoo on the body. Then we will be using a tearless shampoo to wash around the head. And on any sores or cuts the dog may have, it's a good idea to use an iodine-based shampoo on the affected area. Now, we are not going to recommend any certain brand of these shampoos. Instead, we suggest that you visit your local grooming shop or veterinarian to find out which shampoos are available in your area. If your dog has dry skin, you should ask about a medicated shampoo. You'll be able to diagnose dry skin by the dandruff-like flakes on his coat. There is also another type of medicated shampoo for moist, sore skin. A lot of people like to use flea and tick shampoo on their dog. But unless the dog actually has a problem with fleas and or ticks, this is not a very good idea. These types of shampoos generally dry out the coat and skin of your dog, so use them only when needed. If the dog has a real problem with fleas or ticks, an effective treatment is a dip. It can be either sprayed or sponged on after the bath when the dog is still wet. Most good dips should kill fleas and ticks for about 30 days, but this depends on the conditions that your dog lives in. One thing to remember here is that you should not use a dip if you give your dog a bath in flea shampoo. You could be putting too many chemicals on your dog at one time. For the same reason, if your dog was wearing a flea collar and you give him a dip, don't put the flea collar back on. Once you have selected the right shampoo, get your dog into the tub. It's time for him to get wet. Now, turn on the water and let the dog get used to the sound of the running water. Then test the water to make sure it's not too hot or too cold. Tepid or lukewarm water is usually best. Start getting the dog wet from the back. Do it gradually so that he doesn't get too nervous. Make sure that you get the dog thoroughly wet before you apply the shampoo. And when you're getting the head wet, be careful not to get any water in the ear canal. Hold the ear down to prevent this from happening.
So you do the whole thing, wash it, and put the soap on?
Depending on the size of the tub you are using, you may find it easier to do one side of the dog at a time. This way you won't have to reach over him and you'll only have to turn the dog around once. Once the dog is completely wet, begin to apply the shampoo. We recommend you dilute the body shampoo on a 10-to-1 ratio with water. It is a little easier to cover the entire area of the coat, and it also lathers up a little quicker. You may want to use the rubber grooming brush to lather up the dog. It works well on dogs with thick coats like this one. It will also take out any remaining dead coat. And the dog seems to enjoy the massaging action of the brush.
It really gets through to the skin, suds them up really nice, and you can also get some dead coat out. And the dog seems to like it.
When you do the head, use the tearless shampoo. Liberally pour it on the face, but even though it's tearless, be careful not to get it into the dog's eyes. If you do get some in the eyes, rinse it out immediately. If your dog has any cuts or sores, apply the iodine shampoo now to the affected area when he's all lathered up. Put a little bit on your hand and then gently rub it on the sore. It will rinse out with the other shampoos. Don't forget to scrub the feet as well. Check in between all the pads to be sure that there are no pebbles, thorns, or cuts. When you've checked all of his feet, you can begin the first rinse. Rinse the dog down, starting at the head. Again, be careful not to get any water down the dog's ears. Hold the ear down to keep the water out. Then, continue rinsing the rest of the body. You may want to lather him up again to make sure he gets perfectly clean. If you do this, it's not completely necessary to get all the soap out on the first rinse. When you rinse your dog, you will be able to see dirt coming off him in the water. Keep rinsing until the water coming off the dog is clear. You can determine if you have done a thorough job by squeezing water out through your hand and seeing if it is nice and clean or if it still contains soap and or dirt. Once you get the dog thoroughly rinsed, he may or may not want to shake on his own. Pouring a little water on his neck or blowing on him may induce shaking. He can get a lot of the water off himself when he does. Then towel dry the dog as well as possible. This will save time when you go to blow dry the dog. Remember that every time you give your dog a bath, you remove all of his natural oils from his coat. You only need to bathe him every 4 to 6 weeks. Any more frequently, and you risk drying out his coat and skin. One final note before we take the dog out of the tub. Many groomers and grooming shops will express your dog's anal glands. We don't feel a dog owner should become involved in doing this. It is best left to a veterinarian because you could rupture the dog if it is done improperly. There are several methods of drying the dog once he has had his bath. Some people try blow drying with their own hair dryer. We don't recommend this because the dryer element gets too hot and will burn the dog. Some people put the dog in a crate and stick a fan in front of it. This takes a long time and doesn't really do a good job drying. Another technique is reversing the motor on an ordinary shop vac to blow dry the dog. What people usually end up doing is blowing dirty air on their dog and defeating the entire purpose of the bath. On top of that, the shop vac only blows cold air, so it takes a long time. If you want to dry your dog properly, one of the best products on the market is this K9 2 dryer from the Electric Cleaner Company. It has 2 motors for variable power, and the heating element keeps a constant temperature so you won't scorch your dog. It is hard on videotape to show how powerful this dryer is, so at the end of the tape there will be a short presentation on the K9 series of dryers, so watch for it. To start, we'll just turn on one motor so the dog can get used to it. Once he does, we can turn the second motor to cut down on drying time. Begin by putting the hose right on the skin to blast the water out.
You'll really want to use both your motors. Otherwise, you'll be drying him for an awfully long time. He seems to be doing okay. So I'm going to turn on the other one. First, I just like to blast most of the water out. Put the hose right on the skin. That's going to blast the water out. Okay, didn't like that. And then you want to
Once you've done that on the entire coat, you want to brush and dry at the same time. Brush with the lie of the dog's fur so that it dries flat. Many people make the mistake of blowing against the grain. This fluffs the fur, and a German Shepherd does not have a fluffy coat. Keep going over the dog until he's completely dry. You can check for spots that may still be damp by running your fingers under the coat like this. And also remember, when you dry the head, you may want to turn down the dryer so that the dog doesn't get too nervous. Also, be careful not to let the nozzle blast down the dog's ears. It's always important to get your dog completely dry in the winter because he could catch a chill. And in the summer, if he's wet, he might roll around on the ground and the dirt will just stick to him and you'll have wasted the entire time you spent giving him a bath. After he's dry, the final step is taking the comb through him one more time using the fine-toothed side. Run the comb through the coat once more to flatten it out and to remove any remaining dead coat.
And he is soft.
One final note,
Beautiful.
after the dog is dry, you may want to apply a lanolin coat conditioner to replenish the natural oils removed in the bath. Now let's take a few moments to review. To begin grooming your German Shepherd, you must first have some basic tools: the universal brush, an undercoat rake, a steel comb, a shedding blade, and perhaps a rubber grooming brush. You'll need some ear cleaner and some cotton balls, and a nail clippers. And finally, you'll need some sort of blow dryer. The first step in grooming is cleaning the ears. Remember to be careful not to reach too far inside the ear. Next comes trimming the nails. Here you have to be careful not to clip too far up and into the quick. The main part of grooming is brushing the dog. Here is where you remove the dead undercoat. Remember that there are 5 steps to brushing, each with a different tool. Step 1 is with the universal brush, then the undercoat rake, then comes the shedding blade, then the steel comb with its wide teeth, and then the fine teeth. After brushing comes the bath, but first you must select a shampoo. Don't use a human shampoo. Buy shampoo for dogs. Remember to use tearless shampoo on the head and an iodine-based shampoo on any cuts or sores. Only use flea and tick shampoo if your dog has a problem with them, and don't use a dip or a flea collar after a flea and tick shampoo. In the bath, use tepid water and lather the dog thoroughly. Be careful not to get any water in the ears. Scrub the feet and check between the pads for stones or cuts. Then rinse the dog completely. Make sure the water is clear coming off him. To dry the dog, we feel the best method is with a blower like the K9 series from the Electric Cleaner Company. First blast all the water off and then brush and dry the coat flat. Once the dog is dry, run the fine teeth of the comb through one more time, and then you're all done. Your dog should come out looking like a champion. One of the fastest growing industries in the nation is professional pet grooming. The Twin Cities School of Pet Grooming prepares professionals to work in this rapidly expanding field. Our graduates work as professional dog and cat groomers. They are also prepared for other careers in the field like pet product representation, retail pet sales, kennel operation, and salon management. Graduates are trained and placed in the career of their choice. Twin Cities School of Pet Grooming's nationally accredited training program offers students complete instruction in a variety of topics. They include pet care, health, and breed standards, dog and cat grooming, sales, and client relations. Students also learn life skills such as goal setting, stress management, and good study habits. Class size is limited. Classes are offered twice a year. Students are selected on the basis of ability and motivation to succeed. We welcome applicants from outside the Minnesota area. We also offer assistance in planning travel routes and locating housing. Some financial assistance is available to qualified students. Dedicated to offering a complete pet training program, TCSPG also offers education in dog obedience, puppy training, and basic pet care and grooming. Within the school's spacious walls resides Club Pooch, a unique daycare facility for animals. A Paws pet modeling agency, one of the first of its kind, and the Groomers Wholesale Club, providing service and wholesale equipment to groomers throughout the 5-state area and beyond. Our doors are open to the general public during regular business hours. Group and private tours are available by appointment. Visit or call for a free brochure, toll-free, 1-800-922-2609. Within the Twin City area, dial 755-9463. The video you just saw demonstrates the power of the K9 series of dryers from the electric cleaner company. You saw how well it dried the dog, but you really have to use one to believe how powerful it is. To do such a fine job grooming Nikki in this video, we had the help of the K9 2 blower. The K9 2 has two 22,500 RPM motors that put out 123 cubic feet of air per minute. It has a constant temperature of 132 degrees, so it dries, not burns your dog. And its 10-foot hose lets you put the unit in a convenient location while you work. You can have the power and reliability of a K9 dryer for your home or kennel. The electric cleaner company knows pet grooming equipment. They've been in the business for 30 years. Give them a call and find out which machine best fits your needs. 715-597-3181. If you would like to purchase a blow dryer, we will be selling them here through Leerburg Kennels. Our address and phone number will follow this message.